And it says we're live. So, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another lunchtime banter with a little bit of turning involved. I don't know about anyone else, but it's bloody cold in my workshop today. Just looked at the thermometer and it said a measly 8. So, not quite as bad as outside, plus 1.4 when I come in here. But it's still bloody cold anyway. So, welcome to you all. I have 2 ear maggots today, 2 culprits for keeping me, I shan't say sane, but informed of what's going on in the
Is that
chat.
culprits or cold pricks?
Well, probably a bit of both. Probably a bit of both. So what I'm going to do is dump these boys in the background. You might hear them mumbling just to make sure that they're still awake and alive. And what we're going to do today is fruit. But I'm going to do mine different to how Steve did his the other day on his Sunday lunchtime live. So all I've done is I've turned a spigot or a tenon, call it what you will, but it's still a bit of wood sticking out the end that's round. So I'm going to put that in the chuck and pass you over to the hooligans in the background who can inform me as to what's going on. I see we've got 1 or 2 club members in. I see Andy in the past, and I've seen Barry Fitch in there as well. So just tightening this up on both of the fixings, as it's a 2 fixing chuck. Right, guys, it's over to you.
Thank you very much.
Forkenhouse, Lawrence, Douglas Mungham, Andy, Heath, Clive Rodgson, Colin Izzard, Pete from Twisted Trees, Mike Hugh, Chris Dodds, Ian Leonard, James Cassidy, Robert Dolman, Doug Miller, Mark the Gentleman Woodturner, James Cassidy, Hodgepodge, Duncan the Demon Barber, Tommy's Workshop, Richard RJK Spinningwood, Barry Fitch, Pete Kelly, Sidley61. That's a new name on me.
No, he's been in a couple of the chats I've seen.
Linnykins.
Hi, kiddo.
And I think that is everyone.
So good afternoon, everyone.
If I've missed you, I apologise. Hope you've all been keeping well.
I have been keeping exceptionally well, I have to say.
Cool. Have we had much snow over there, Brian?
We have had just what I would call little tiny, almost look like polystyrene balls. No snow as such. Or even you could call them lightweight hailstones.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they look like. Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
no snow at all. Yeah.
Yeah, ours was a bit like talcum powder coming out the sky yesterday.
We've had there's more in London than there is down here.
Yeah, well, they can keep it.
Yeah, they're just greedy up there.
Mate, it's made driving on nights, the last few nights, interesting.
I would think so.
Right, this is a lump of branch yew. Nice lot of colour in it. I want to keep some of the sapwood in it. Can you see where I am? No, let's see if I can get on different camera. I've tried a different setup on some of them, so it might work.
How's that, Pete? Is that better?
It's good.
Wood
Wizardry by Colin is in. He's sorry I'm late. Been searching for a FOT cheap boarding. FOT? FOT?
I think that's for cheap boarding.
For cheap boarding, yep.
Have a look on. Oh, where did I get on mine? Building for Less or Build for Less. Colin. Gerard, the French Turner's in.
Welcome, Gerard.
James Cassidy is saying they're sitting in 3 inches of snow on the Epsom Downs.
Oh,
All right for some. Yeah. Right,
Next
this is going to be the tail end. So the string is going to go in there. It's not going to be a totally true apple, round apple, because I've got a little bit of edge inclusion in there, but I'm not worried about that. How many apples are absolutely spot on round?
Yeah. Benjamin's in.
Hi, Ben.
David Heath.
Hello everyone else that's come over. Hope you've all got your coffee and your lunch, and we can have a bit of a laugh and a giggle.
Neil Gold's in. Duncan saying they've got hardly any snow in Bolton. It seems really patchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The question is, right, can we go sledging in this snow with lockdown?
You could if there was snow.
I reckon it's part of your daily exercise because you've got to walk back up the hill after you've slid down it, ain't you?
Yeah, but is that on snow or mud? So what have
it
I
would
done
be
there?
mud.
Yeah, it'd be mud down here.
Yep,
Now I
mud
want
here
to
too.
put a small hole in the bottom. So I've got a 2mm bit. Just going to push in there. Job done. Take it out before I break the drill bit. Not the first time I've done that. As it's so fine. Right, now I can drop the speed back and have a quick sand on the bottom here.
Lewis
Get this
Klondike
into
Craftsman's in.
something respectable.
Hi, Lewis. Welcome.
Said
Hi, Lewis.
He can send some snow to whoever needs it.
Yeah, but don't send it down here. Send it up north.
A nice project that Mark did last night on his live.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I tried commenting, but it wouldn't come up or something. Steve said it wasn't coming up, so I don't know what was going on there. I can't send you part of our son due to restrictions to heat your workshop.
Let's quickly take the edge off with 120. It was. Go over to 240. I'm only interested in cleaning up this bottom bit at the moment. What I could do now is I could actually bring up the centre the
Steve
tile stock.
Temple Boy has dropped in. He's having a quick pop in while he's having
Hello,
a break
Steve.
from homeschool.
Yeah. So let's go on to an overhead camera so you can actually see now. Number 4.
Christina Michael, good afternoon. Hope you're both well.
Hi, Christine, Michael. Hope it's not too cold down on the coast. It's probably a little bit cooler down there. Right, now just going to finish shaping this, as you can see it.
We've got 52 in watching now, Keith.
Welcome, guys. It's almost a record.
Yeah, don't forget to smash that thumbs up.
This early in the time. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up or the going over and liking the channel. It's gradually building. Thanks to Mark, Steve put a link up last night. I picked up 3 last night.
Yep, here, 210 subscribers there, Keith. Excellent.
Yep, that's what it
Doing really
showed this morning when I looked. So gradually creeping up. I'm not doing it to see if I can be a record breaker on subscribers. Like I've said before, I'm doing it to
Mark,
pass on a few gems.
Mark's currently gluing up pen blanks in his living room because it's too
Okay.
bleedy cold in the workshop.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Alan.
So now I'm going to just sand this up. Oh, the part-timers got here then. Morning, Alan.
the CA jokes are started already.
Do you know, I plan to record because I've got a couple of the new kits from Taylor's. So I plan to record a premiere this week and try and get it out before I go back to work.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them's going to be a CA finish just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Barry's in. Hello, hello.
Hello,
Labaz.
Murray.
Hello, hello, hello.
See, Gerard's in as well. Gerard.
Yep, Gerard's been in from the beginning.
Right. So that's that bit sanded up to 240. So who's singing the Yorkshire Grit song today?
There's only one person that can sing that. That's Dale.
Yeah. And Joe. She's taken over.
Oh, I've
Right.
not heard Joe sing it yet.
Oh, she was. She's cracked it a couple of times.
She did yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh. I was watching whilst sat outside A&E, in and out.
Uh-huh. Right. Sanding through all this. Get the lid off. This is a shellac.
Your microphone, Keith, must be touching
know,
your jacket.
No, I just knocked it down.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
We get a lot of
Should-
rustling noise behind your mic.
Yeah, should be better. Right, this is shellac-based sanding sealer, watered down at least 40%. So with meths. So rather than meths the dust off, I do 2 in 1. I'll kill it like this.
So Steve says he's back to work on Thursday. Thank fork. Hashtag,
Which Steve's that?
Steve Templeboy. Hashtag
Okay, Steve.
lockdown
Yeah,
cabin fever.
yeah. At least you've got a workshop, Steve, you can get into and spend a few hours in there if you need to. Right. Another bit of paper. So that's really dry. Where did you put the Yorkshire Grit? Could be anywhere.
Oh, that's twice you said it now.
Oh,
I know.
One more time and Glyn's sure to appear.
Yeah. Well, there's no good him appearing yet because I don't know where I've put it.
It's over there, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Behind
Strange, it's in a black tin.
Steve
moved
Jobbins
things-
has just joined.
Move things around because I had to do
Welcome,
some work.
Steve. Or Stephen.
God, it's got to
You
be here
guys say?
somewhere. It's got to be here somewhere, guys. If not, we'll have to.
If not, you'll
have to
not be using
abort that. No, exactly. Exactly. I can't understand that. Have I kicked it on the floor somewhere and left it? Can't believe I'd do anything like that. Oh, I can
Back's
see it.
Back's getting bad, Dad. That's what it is. Don't
Yeah.
let him down.
I found it. I'll have to show you the bottom of the pot because the top of the pot is pretty. And that's the wrong pot, obviously. So that's the empty one.
Why
Okay,
have you kept an empty one, eh?
pass. Absolutely no idea. I can see it. It's underneath the microcrystalline wax. So look at
Yeah,
that.
right.
We've got a
Very
clean
nice.
lid on this one, as well as a clean bottom to it. Right.
Ooh, So Steve's saying no workshop until the summer, unfortunately, Keith. He's using the Creator van at the moment.
Right.
His workshop got killed by the Irish weather and a broken septic tank. That
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
you
that don't sound pretty.
You don't want logs everywhere, do you? God.
that sounds a bit rough.
Yeah. Right. Hope we got the septic tank sorted. For everyone's sake. Right. The slowest this lathe goes is about 450. I'm gently going to rub this in. And I can feel when the grit has gone. You can also hear when the grit disappears. So what this is going to do is, through gently massaging it in to the wood, it's going to take it up now to about 1,000 grit. So that gets rid of all of the fine sanding dust that no one wants to breathe. So there's a little bit of colour in the paper where it's taken it off, the dust off, but not a great deal. With a clean section of paper.
Talking of paper,
You
Dad, can I
wipe
ask a
it over.
question?
Yeah,
It's really sad. The white paper we get from Club,
yeah.
is that quite a wide roll or is that quite a thin roll?
It's I think it's about 10 inches wide.
Okie dokies.
Paul Smith has
the-
just joined us.
It's 8 inches wide.
Okie dokies.
It's the same one that Toolstation do. They do it in a blue, and if you scroll down a bit further, you can get it into a white as well. So
Oh,
So-
I've got it, but I wasn't sure which roll was which because I've got rolls of each.
okay.
So we
I'm
have
looking
Steve,
for-
we have Steve
Yeah, I'm
Gilman.
looking-
Oh, go ahead.
So I'm looking for this paper to come off with no mark at all on it, which it has done now. Let's wipe out these little divots, which I'm going to leave on there.
So we have a question for Steve Jobbins here. He's looking for the Irish guy who turns with a Coronet Herald. Can picture your face but can't remember your name.
Certainly not me then.
No.
No, I think he's talking about me. I think he's talking about me.
I don't think you turn with a herald no more, though, do you? You've gone all.
No, I don't. No, I've got a regent now.
You've gone all posh now.
I've got an old
Right,
posh, right?
This is where I'm now going to change from the way Steve done it. I'm going to take this out and put in a screw chuck. This one happens to be a 3/4 16 thread inside. So it used to fit on the old Arundel I had. No, it wasn't. It was the Elf I had. But that doesn't matter because it's round outside. This one fits in the center of this chuck. And all that has is a wood screw in there, held in by a grub screw through there, which you can change. I find it's easiest to hold the chuck and pull the chuck or the hand wheel to do the screwing on here. So I just put the paper towel in there to cushion the finished edge end of the apple. Do it up tight, but don't go silly. It's only a wood screw. So with that in there like that, that will hold that. Just bring that up for a minute. There's another wood screw. This one actually fits on my pole wood. Exactly the same principles. A grub-it screw in there, holding a fairly coarse screw on there. Not very long on this one, but I think I can push it out a bit. Here's another one, basically the same as what I've got on there. This has got a 3/4 16 thread in there, slightly smaller shaft. but it's got a bigger faceplate cover on there and less of a screw sticking out the end. There's only about 1/2 inch out the end. I could get over that by taking these 3 grub screws out, but that's the way that I'm mounting this. Let's put these away back on the shelf. I know what I did forget to bring down here. If you want to make your own, because you're only going to do 1 or 2 apples or fruit, is what I generally use this for. If you cut yourself a piece of 1/2 inch 3/4 ply, turn it round, drill the center out, get yourself a 1.25 or 1.5 screw, 1.5 10 is the best one, across the head of it. I'm talking and looking at the same time. Only got a 2 inch.
I was
But
looking
if
for
you-
the one you made me, but I can't find it.
Yeah, if you can cut with a junior hacksaw, particularly on the posies, across the 2 opposing hollows where the screwdriver goes in, to about the depth of that, or a little bit more, screw that in, or countersink the back of the wood, screw it in. It won't hold, so hold it in with some epoxy on there, and then what you want to do is get the slot that you've just cut in the top opposite the grain of the wood, and run the saw across that as well, and then drop a saw blade in there and epoxy that lot in. That should stop the screw twisting, because not only do you need to get the work on, you need to get it off as well. So
Roberts in with Woodsheds has just joined.
I'm going to put the tile stock up
Welcome,
Just
Wavy.
just to hold it. That's about right, so that's spinning good. So set up now to take the eye end off, the bottom off. So keep knocking that.
You just drop your camera down just a little fraction there.
Yeah, just about to. Yeah, I'm just putting a snood on, so it saves me sucking out all of the hot air that I've almost got in here. Yeah. No, we can't take massive cuts now. But with a sharp spindle gouge, I can gradually whittle this down.
And it's best to work towards the headstock in it rather than away from it.
Yes, yes, you're pushing in towards the headstock. So I'm not worried about tooling up onto what I've already Yorkshire grit, because I should go up a bit higher onto that in a minute. I want to get down to quite a small diameter, so that all I'm actually tooling on the masterpiece, the apple, is actually the apple and not all this waste material. And it's surprising how big a cut you can take. That is nearly 3mm cut. And this one you'll just about take it off down to nothing. Right, get the elbow stabber out of the way.
Always a good plan.
Yeah, realign the tool rest. Gently now. This is where you've got to remember it's only about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of screw holding this and spinning it. Now, to try and make the eye hole. Very good. I can't see. Glasses are fogged up because I've got the snood up. That's better. Well, I don't really want to breathe too much of this as it's you, but you can't see me. But I could put the tail camera on, which is I'm not talking to myself. Don't do that sort of thing.
Don't we all in the workshop?
That gives me a tail.
It's because we want expert advice. That's what it is.
Yeah, I can say I need the correct answer, so I'm just gently
I better go and find an
Picking
expert then.
picking this out. Tool rest was a little bit low. So gently pick it out. It's the initial 2 or 3 mil in.
Flick,
It's the
wood turning and timber creation is in. Hiya, Flick.
Hiya, Flick. You're
Hiya,
from
Flick.
Australia, aren't you? You're down under, if I remember right. I know I've subbed to you. Right. There's the eye hole. So, without further ado, take out the elbow stabber and replace it with a 2 mil bit. I'm just going to straight in there, ish, 3/4 of an inch. Get rid of that.
I don't know if that camera will need to wipe that. It's gone a bit blurry.
Hang on, let me just.
That's a bit
There
better.
we
And
go.
Mike, the Midnight Joker's in. Hiya, Mike.
Right.
Afternoon, Mike.
Hello, Mike. So we can now see what we've got. I've got a little bit of a ridge just there. So I'll go back on. No, I won't. I'll leave it as it is for a minute. Just see if I
Hodge
can get
says
rid
he
of.
just talks to his beaver.
Yeah, well, takes all sorts, doesn't it, Hodge? How's the sexual activities, or have you curtailed all of that? So you getting frisky as you come into season? Right, starting with 120. Not going to need a lot of sanding. It's just really where you can't see at all. Let's go back onto the overhead one. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So at least you can see where I am, even if you can't really see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of 120 on there just to blend that in. I'm happy with that. Over to the 240. That's 400. It's a bit fine, don't need that. There's 200, 240. Right. So
I must sort out an abrasive order with you, mate, after
right.
down or when we can meet up.
That's blended in nice now. So turn that off.
Hodge says he thinks they got erotic on his exotics.
Yeah. Sanding sealer just on the end there.
Are you alright if I chuck a link into my new channel, Dad? Just for anyone
No,
who isn't
no.
subscribed?
Definitely not.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Just in case anyone ain't subscribed.
Well, you've got more on it than what I have, and you've only just started.
I just started this new one. Yeah, but
Yeah,
a lot's to do with that is what we were talking about the other day, I think.
yeah.
Which will be
Right.
coming out in the press soon.
Okay, let's put a little bit of Yorkshire grit on the end. Put the lid on before I knock it over and fill it up with bare shavings.
Don't forget, guys, as well, check out everyone else in the chat. We should be showing each other some love.
So, again, work the Yorkshire grit in. A clean bit of paper. Up the volume. Just hope it comes off clean, which it has done. Nothing at all on there. Dump that bit. Find another bit. Right. I should have waxed the first half before I did what I did, but I didn't. Old age getting in. So, wood wax 2 and 2. Normal finish. I might at a later date just overcoat these with microcrystalline, but you don't want too much on here. You just need a little bit on the paper towel.
Scott, there have been loads of your videos of Coffee Grinder 1 and 2. I think that might be Douglas because I put up some of the videos from my old channel, my new channel today.
Let's have a look, see what that looks like. It looks all right.
Tommy's off.
Already, Tommy?
He said you better get back to work.
Work?
What
Now,
was
Cheers,
that?
Paul.
The worst bit is actually unscrewing it, but it's come off. That's okay. Let's put the lid on that because that'll come off otherwise. So, there is a half-hour apple. I just need to clean the wax out of its eye hole, which I can do using that as a hand drill. And then to finish it, which is going to take one hell of a long time, little cooking demonstration now. Cloves. Oh, it smells nice. It's not been opened for a few months, this lot. So if I can get not that one. If I can get the super glue open.
Does Sue know you nicked them off the Spice Rack?
Yep.
That's probably why you had to come from the shed this morning.
Yeah. Drop of super glue in the eye. Oh, did he fall off then? Would you believe it? That one's not going to fit. There's that one. So it looks like it's going to be the smaller one of the 3. No, because I've broken that one now. Okay. So the idea is to drill a big enough hole. So I should have gone over to a slightly bigger drill. So we do it by hand.
Check the size of your clothes.
Oh, yeah.
It's lockdown. He's put on weight.
I haven't, mate. I'm still
you
the
said
same as I was.
clothes, not clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because you can't get yours on or into them. Right, here we are. I found one that fits. Right, so we're back to where we were. Dob of super glue in there. Clove pushed in there. Put the drill back before it ends up on the floor. I don't just open this end up a fraction. You don't need too much because it's had the screw chuck in there. This goes in there. So what are we going to use for the top? I think if I just clean this up a fraction, this is a piece of dried heather stem, only because we've got heather plants in the garden. That will fit. So, drop of Go on. Super glue in the striker hole. Line that in there. Leave that for a few minutes. Pick up the rest of the clothes that I've shot all over the bench. Put the lid on before the rest of them go for a walk.
Steve says this is where the glue sets, and Steve puts a drill bit in the apple, and you end up with a metal core.
Yeah. So, apart from a quick waxing at a later date, one completed apple with a bit of twig in the top and a clove in the bottom.
Very nice indeed.
So, what are we going to do for the second half? Well, let's see if we can make something else. Let's get rid of the screw chuck and put in a longer piece. So this time we're going to see if we can make something that resembles a pear.
Hi, Mike. The Lincoln said you could make a banana.
No, that's Steve's. I can't do that. That's a bit technical. I don't want to take all of his joy and pride that he's got because he makes the bananas. I think that's a little bit more technical than what I am accustomed to. So make sure the tool rest meshes. There's a branch there, little one. There's another one there. There's another two there. So there's another one there, 2 bits or 3 there. So it's going to be a little bit of a rough ride around the outside, so fire him up. And 1/2 inch spindle, it's too high. Just start to shape the bottom. Now, an apple is exactly the same shape on the bottom. Oh, a pear, shall we say, is exactly the same shape on the bottom as an apple. It's just that it's got a giraffe bit on the top. So it's got a neck to it. So, again, this is going to have a bruised section in it. Now I can start to form the neck. While it's between centres, I want to get the basic shape because it's where I'm cutting now. There's quite a bit missing, which you can see. So I'm only on barely half the wood. So I can get that down a bit closer. So it's going to be quite a flat-sided pear. So with that in mind, I want to get as much of this rough shaped done between centres, even though the tailstock's not holding a great deal. It's just there to support it. Seem to be a short on questions today, guys.
Well, Douglas has just put a question in, Keith. Was the apple made of apple wood? And is this pear made of pear wood?
No, neither. If you were listening, Douglas, from the start, you would have heard that it's yew. They're both yew. It's branch yew. Do we need to put Douglas in timeout as he's not paying
No,
attention?
no. Oh, he's paying
Nah.
attention, all right. It's a bit of a joke. Steve. It's a bit of a joke.
Colin said he's just ordered his 4 sheets of OSB delivery tomorrow. Look at that.
It's not bad. What sort of price did you get, Colin? Do you negotiate one? Because with a lot of building sites shut down, they're now not giving it away, but you can negotiate good prices. There's Colin, South London, Croydon,
No,
Is that
he's
the one?
Kingston.
Kingston. Yeah,
Yeah, South London.
South London.
4 sheets for
76 quid.
76. Which is that?
What's that work out at?
That's nearly 20 quid a sheet.
Yep, that's about right. That's about right. Right. Just need to get rid of that flat. So we
Brent
can...
Breakoft has just arrived.
Hello, Brent. Welcome to the madhouse. Don't feed the monkeys. Just throw us a one-liner.
Mark the gentleman would Gardner is back. His new compressor has just arrived.
Ah,
Nice.
he did say he'd got one ordered.
He'll be full of wind now. What compressor did you get, Mark?
Now I can get rid of the tail stock and the arm stabber. Swing everything round so that I can get in on the bottom. It's a bit low. Pick up the centre. Gentle pull cut.
Titan Precision Pro.
Titan.
Titan Precision Pro. That's the quiet one, Mark, isn't it? Or one of the quieter ones. Some of them are a bit loud.
Brilliant for getting your dog indoors, though.
Steve's got to go back to teaching.
Good luck. Okay, good luck, Steve. Catch you later.
Thanks for stopping by, mate.
Yeah.
Mark says
Mark
it's
says,
the same as JP. Near silent.
Very good.
I'm quite happy with that. Just a little ring.
Yeah, if I turn mine on, Brian.
Yep.
If the dog goes running indoors. Brilliant.
I've got mine just through the wall from a workshop in a little woodshed, so it's kind of sound insulated a little bit.
Yeah, mine was until it decided it wanted to play up, and I've not bothered to do any more to fix it.
Pete says the trouble with wooden fruit is it breaks your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lawrence has just had a bit of trouble with Simon Hope. He was trying to order some tools, but Simon's not exporting until further notice. No surprise. I'm having trouble as well.
Where are you, Lawrence?
Midnight Joker has just made a comment. Careful your pair doesn't crack, or it will be open season on double entendres.
I know what you're saying, Midnight Mike.
Oh, Lawrence is in Malta. Hey. It's warmer than Malta, at least. Even though you can't buy tools. Yeah, the wood turning shop is having trouble as well, Richard. I have to say the FedEx, who they normally use, is not exporting anything. They're useless. So they've had to send me some things by UPS, and I'm waiting to see do they arrive this Thursday.
Uh-huh. Right, so I'm quite happy
Thanks.
with that shape. Looks better
Pete's
to me
saying
than
that,
what it does on the camera. But,
Pete's saying that
okay.
Oliver's and the wood turning shop both sell Hope tools, but don't think either are exporting.
Just turn the extractor on. Right.
I was on with Martin the other day there. He says the government advice to businesses is it's fine for like multinationals like Rolls Royce or something like that, but it's
Yeah.
absolutely no use to small businesses. No use at all. He's kind of pulled his hair out with the whole thing.
And John's just popped off. He's got to take his sand out the oven. Don't fancy the sound of his lunch.
No, not unless he's on the beach somewhere. It's got a little bit of
I have to ask the
bad
question:
cooling
why has he got
there.
sand in the oven?
Yeah. I could understand it if it was a couple of old blanks in there.
Perhaps he's too tight to buy
Better.
kiln dried, so he's gone for oven dried.
Much better.
Oh, it's 6 degrees my workshop. I need to put the heater on. That's it.
Yeah,
The fan heater's on. I'm freezing now.
I'm looking forward to going back to me e-learning after this, just so I can warm up.
I'm going back to video editing, I hope, when this is over.
Lawrence, you might have to wait a bit with Ed. I think he's had problems down there on a lot of orders and also backlog, and he's got issues with broadband at times. I don't know whether he's 100% sorted it out. You can always give him a buzz.
Yeah, so it's unlike Ed not to reply.
Are you guys gone quiet, or is it me not hearing you so much?
No, we're not quiet. No, we've been talking away. Must be you.
Okay. Must be the hamster slowing down in the wheel.
So Douglas Monaghan says he thinks he's preparing for a sand dance. I seem to remember a sketch a long time ago with who did the sketch?
The two
Markham
Eric
and
and
Wise, I
Ernie.
think, was it? Yeah.
No, it was Eric and Ernie Wise, wasn't it?
Yeah, Markham and Wise, yeah.
Exactly the same.
I'm a bit too
Drill
young
up
to
through the
remember
bottom. I push mine in, I don't wind it in. No point, it's such a small hole. Right, sanding seal. It's nice that there's a bit of bark left on it. I was surprised on that. Let's turn the extractor off. That kills it a bit for me. On the volume. Not the most beautiful branch that I've had, but it was all that I'd got in here that was dry at the time, so it's what it's going to be. Dry the sanding sealer off. Need to make sure that is dry before we try and put some Yorkshire grit on it. The two don't like each other. Bit of hand drying.
Hodge, stop it. You got to push it in when it's a small hole. Well, I guess you could screw it. You're bad, Hodge.
Right, Yorkshire grit for the third time today.
And no song yet? Oh dear.
No.
I'll maybe
No.
have to sing here. I don't know. I might have to sing.
Yeah. Joe's not in today, is she?
Nope.
No. So just put it on with the lathe static. Get rid of those flakes off the top there. Is he talking to himself?
Yeah, I don't know.
My boy.
Lawrence, he probably is. Lawrence has just commented there about the Brexit issue. He thinks it's because the customs are checking everything from the UK and it takes too long. Simon said he'd sent something to Europe and it hasn't arrived yet. Yeah,
Oh,
no surprise.
No. Right, that's covered in Yorkshire grit. So the lathe that's lowest speed, just rub it in gently.
John S is back from the sand trip.
Okay.
Welcome back, John.
Bucket and spade to hand.
What? Why were you cooking the sand in the first place?
there we go. Doug Miller's just said, hands that feel pity can feel soft as your face, with light brown Yorkshire gritty.
No, it's not. You have to sing it. I'm going to have to sing it.
Well done, Baz. Heidi's getting the vaccine at long last.
Cool. Go on then, Brian. You sing it.
Are we still on Yorkshire Grit?
We are.
Yeah, it's just going to increase
Now
the volume
hands
and
that
take it
feel
off.
pretty can be soft as your face, with light brown Yorkshire Gritty. There you go.
Oh, what a
Look.
lovely singing voice you have there.
Yeah.
Not doing it again, ever. That's the first, the last, and
Yeah, we're getting it. We got an encore later on. Just need to wipe it off of the bark. Made the bark nice and smooth.
Douglas
Sounds
is
better than
asking.
the support act.
Sorry, Douglas is asking. Has that pear been rubbing against a branch to make that mark?
No, it is the branch. It is the bark. Yeah.
I think it's been lying up in the bowl too long. It's kind of rotten
Yeah.
there.
Colin says, who sings that in their shed every time they use it?
Hands up, yeah, okay.
I don't.
If I don't sing it out loud, it's.
Glenn
If I don't
needs
sing
a
it out,
commercial.
sorry, Scott. So if I don't sing it out loud, it's in my head. There is no
Yeah.
doubt.
That's come off clean. So I do it the right way round now. Like, put some wood wax 22 on the bottom. I don't use a skew. I use something that's got a point to it. So that drill bit I used last week's good for that. And a bit of paper.
John said he had to get it out of the oven before the wife come home.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah,
Oh, it's
Take the
casting sand, I see. Yeah.
take the sand out and put the wood blocks in. Not too much wax, because the more you put on, the more you're wasting in one hit. You want a
Mike
couple of
says
coats.
he hasn't
of
seen a
thin
pear
wax.
that smooth since he was a teenager.
Careful, Mike. Careful, Mike. And that was only last week.
That's a lovely pear you have.
Right. Don't press too hard. Just gently. Let the paper do the work and the wax do its work. You can see that's brought up quite a nice shine without too much effort at all. So, quite happy with that. So, take the pear out. Put the screw chuck in.
You're just coming up 5-2, Dad.
Right. Well, I've got nowhere to go this afternoon, so there's no time schedule. There's no one else booked. So if I overrun the half hour or the hour and a half, which I got a tendency to do, it's up to you whether you stop
That's a
and watch or you turn it off.
Yeah, that's right.
That's if I don't freeze to death in the meantime.
Oh, stop whining! God.
I'm sat on top of a space eater.
Yeah. So I'm just
Yeah.
bringing the tailstock up to give it a bit of support on there while I get rid of the excess wood.
That's not very kind, Hodgepodge. He says that pair looks a bit like Scott wearing a top hat.
I don't own a top hat. I own a bowler hat, but I don't own a top hat. Only own a bowler hat from a mate's wedding I don't know how long ago.
Right, now we've got to be careful now because we've got an inch and a half longer overhang on this than we had on the apple, so we've got to work it down carefully. If you got a catch now, you would know you had a catch.
John S. asking you a question here, Dick. He says, can you do a pineapple on a lathe?
You can do, but you need hell of a texturing tool for the outside. So rather than have the lemon texturing tool on, which is that one, which is the Robert Sorby texturing tool, there would only be about 2-3 teeth on there if you were going to do a pineapple.
Yeah.
And Gerard says, Keith, just realised your wood lever on the tailstock. Very good idea. Need to do one. Better lever force.
Yeah, I was getting fed up with trying to knock it in to get it past a back camera down there, and I kept on knocking the camera every time. So I thought, well, if I extend that, put a sleeve over it, seeing as that we could do, as we're wood turners, or supposedly wood turners, it worked a treat. Now, what I have seen, and I don't particularly like it, is that, take another couple of slices off the top here, that as a finished pear. All they do is just sand the top diagonally. If it rocks your boat, yes, you can. I think I prefer a strig. It looks a bit over the top, the same as the turned ones. And also you can buy silver, I think it is, and gold leaves, just to put an extra few pound on it. But does it do anything for the fruit? I don't think it does.
I would agree. Keep it natural.
Keep it natural.
That's what I think.
Yes, Brett, doing much better. Thank you very much.
To be honest, that to me would be better as a strig, but I still prefer my piece of natural twig out the garden. Choice is yours. You can leave it like that.
Colin
And
just
get rid of
uses
the-
a normal stalk pair, doesn't he?
He does for. He does for his. Yeah, he does for both because he
Yeah.
has a pair every night, so he saves the string out of it. Just gently take it off and then attack it from the bottom.
Alan's got to go. He says, thanks for a great show, Keith. He'll see you soon.
Bloody part timer. Yeah,
Hopefully
Got-
it won't be too much longer and we can all meet at club.
yeah, yeah. Get in from the bottom and just open it up so that the string sits in there. Just refine it.
Pete
Gentle.
says the
Ball
silver and
cut.
gold leaves seldom add cost to the value of the sold item.
I don't think
Yeah.
they do either. I think they make it look cheap.
I've got a few, but I never add any more to cover the cost of them. They're just there because I add them.
Yeah, I think you got some from me, didn't you?
Some from you or some from Axminster.
Yeah. Right. Quite happy with that shape. So quick go up through the grits, a bit of 120 in the eye. They like a little bit in the, not the eye, this is a strig end. Just blend it in. So the more you can finish off from the other end, the easier it is for you. So all I'm doing is just blending that in. There's a little bit of a mark just there. So doesn't take a lot. I've slowed the lathe right down to its slowest, about 450, because I'm sanding you. So you don't want to generate any heat in you. It will crack. Little heat cracks set up in it. And you know you've got them because once you put sanding sealer on there, they highlight them. So there we are. Sanded to 240. Sanding sealer. Richard's put a bit tacky, he thinks. Yeah. Totally agree with you, Richard. Right. Hole for the strig. So I do that while it's drying. It's dry. Little bit of good old Yorkshire grit.
Brent has got to go. Wife needs the shopping done. Oh no. You have a safe day as well, Brent.
Don't forget to get yourself some beer if the wife wants some shopping done. Little bit of grit just on the bottom bit. Like I say, I'm not too concerned if I go over a little bit that I've waxed already.
Yep, Barry Fitches has to go as well, Kate. Said thanks.
Cheers, Barry.
See you later, Barry.
Thanks for dropping in, mate. See, the pens are coming on quite well, mate. And the casting.
Richard from RJK Spinning Wood says he's had 2 more inches of snow while you've been on, Keith.
I'm not that slow.
It's either that, it's a heavy snowfall.
I've only been on 1 hour and 4 minutes.
Yep.
Been
It
on
must
1
be
hour
a
and
bit of
4
a
minutes,
blizzard.
and I've still got 50 of you guys watching. Thank you very much. Well, there's 50 showing up on my feed, or 51 now, who's just
Yep.
popped back in. Yep, so
51 I have to.
That's come away clean. I think we can afford a clean bit of paper now, so that's got the wax on it.
Barry has to go. He's got to get back to work.
Sorry about
Hello,
that, Baz.
Barry.
Good luck to Heidi when she gets her jab. Right, that's waxed. That's polished. Just need to make top a little bit bigger. I think I can, yeah, I can hold the drill for that. Hasn't got to go in very far. So, what have I drilled that out at? I've drilled that with a 4. Unscrew that. Make a bigger hole in the bottom so we don't have the issues I had last time. Doesn't need to be very deep in the bottom. ½ inch is more than enough. Because these cloves don't have a very long string on them. Find a good one. That looks quite reasonable. Jar of cloves. These I bought 12, 15 years ago and about ½ inch down. So you don't use many. Right. Clove in first because I can balance it on the top. Couple of dobs of glue of super in there. Drop that baby in there. Push it right in. Choose your piece of strig. Should fit. Throw the knife on the floor.
Oops.
Yeah.
He's dropped it.
He's dropped a clanger.
That'll fit. Couple of drops of super glue in there. Now I'm not worried that this has got a bend to it. Cut it at an angle. Makes it look like it's supposed to have been cut. So there we have a pair.
So, question from Richard again. How much
An
do
apple.
fruit items sell for usually?
Between £6 and £8 down here. Depends where you are in the country and what you're doing.
Well, there's someone on Etsy that's got one for 30 quid.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I
they
know,
go
it's
play?
what I just thought.
I noticed on eBay, Emma put a bowl on there, a snowflake bowl. That went for £40. And I noticed there was a load of other bowls on there. And some of those were sort of £65, £80. No, was it on eBay? Yeah, on eBay. I thought, well, if Emma's only goes for £40, and
Yeah.
you're expecting to get £60, £80 for nothing special.
Yeah. Mark,
um,
the gentleman would turn ourselves this for £18.
yeah.
And you have another question from Colin Izzard. Question, Keith, do you like the white paper or the blue paper better?
I prefer the white paper better, but if you can't get the white paper, the blue paper, there's nothing wrong with it. The only time you might, and I say might, have a little issue is if you're using spirit or solvent based or spirit based something. Apparently, some of the club members tell me that the colour leaches out. I've
Yeah.
never had that issue, so I can't comment.
It's made with much coarser material too. It's more. The fibres are far harsher than the white stuff.
Not the one I've got or the ones we get. They're
The ones
exactly
that,
the
aye,
same.
well, the ones that any of the rules that I've heard of the blue stuff has been kind of rougher, kind of almost scratchier, if you like.
Yeah,
If
I've
you're trying
always
to
found
polish
the
something up
stuff
with it.
was, coarser.
Well, I would say that there's no difference between them, the white or the blue.
Richard said
I-
40 quid, that's rubbish. You should have gone for far more than that.
Yeah, I know it should have done. If I was desperate, I would certainly use either in the loo. They're not that coarse.
Yeah, but
Right.
you keep leaves hanging up in your loo.
I know. That's because of the roof leaking. Right, I'm going to make another apple. And if anyone wants to disappear, thank you very much. If you don't, you can watch me do another
Laurel.
apple.
Lawrence just complimented you on 2 beautiful fruits, Keith.
Thank you. One's only a pair. How does that work? I think we might invest in a sharp chisel this time to start with.
Andy H's for turning reckons he gets about £8 to £10 each for a bit of fruit. That's probably about
Yeah.
standard, I would think.
It's about right. I mean,
Yep.
down the museum, Andy, I think the last ones I put up were a bit smaller than these as well. So, and what with Colin putting fruit up, I don't always bother. It's one of those things, it's quite a nice thing to have.
What's his name?
Oh.
His name's gone. Mike.
Is that?
with
Yeah,
his bowls of fruit.
yeah. Well, we can't match the price that he does. He does one of our turners. He does a bowl, hand-turned wooden bowl. There's usually 2 or 3 apples in it, 1 or 2 pears, a bunch of grapes.
Made out of Purple Heart.
Yeah, about 40 quid.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Well, like he says,
So-
he's doing it to get him out from in front of the telly.
Oh well.
He's not doing it to make a living. He's not doing it for anything else than self-satisfaction, keep him mobile. He can't do a lot. He's
Would he-
COPD, so he has to be a bit careful what he does, how long he spends in the workshop.
I'm just going to mute and take a phone call back in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see where he's coming from, but I've said to him many a time, you're not doing us that want to sell them at a better price any favours.
Yeah, that's true.
You're,
So Pete from Trusted Trees just made a comment there. He says 20 minutes to make equals £5. Timber retail price probably £3. Electricity and consumables another £3. They need to make wholesale of £12 or retail 25, but that doesn't happen.
no.
You know, so
If
you're never going to
doing,
make money making fruit.
if you're going to be doing high class or very well advertised craft fairs, and there's nothing wrong with trying to sell through the museum, don't get me wrong, but with a footfall of currently, or just before we shut, with the regulations in place, we could only let 300 in a day. You are on a fairly limited footfall.
Yep.
So to sell a bowl of fruit for £40, and it's not only selling the fruit, the customer has then got to walk it nearly half a mile from our workshop to the car park.
Yep.
So you've got to take all of that into consideration. And like he says, most of the wood he gets for virtually nothing, if not nothing. So he doesn't want to make a lot out of it. He doesn't want to make it that he's got to make it, if that makes sense.
Yep, understand exactly.
Yeah, but like I've said to him, you're still not doing us any favours as a club member and a participant down there, but you're getting rid of it that cheap. He understands, but like he says, I don't need to go really unrealistically dear.
Yeah, Flick from Flick's Wood Turning says, "Are fruits a popular seller?" Question mark.
More than likely, it's going to be an older person that buys them. It's very unlikely to be the just marrieds or the younger generation. They don't want anything like that floating around in their £1,000 mansion or whatever it is they've got.
Yeah.
They want something designer, and wooden fruit isn't designer for them, I'm afraid. When I sell anything, if it's Mike's Fruit Bowl or fruit from myself, the knickknacks like this go to the over 50s. Very rarely you'll sell anything to the under 50s. It's the same with the mushrooms. Although there is a slightly younger age group picking those up because they use them for decorative, particularly now a lot of houses are being built with fireplaces in and a mantelpiece. So we want a couple, 3 to fit on the mantelpiece. Gone are the old days when they wanted candlesticks on the mantelpiece. Now they seem to want mushrooms. Mushrooms. So
Mushrooms,
it's really reading your area that you're trying to sell them.
Surely. And then Andy kind of just hits the nail right in the head there. He says it really does depend on where you're selling. He sells mostly at his local village market, and that restricts that would be a restriction on the price. If you were selling fruit through Harrods in London, you could put 25 quid in it quite easily. But if you're selling it in a market in Downpatrick, for example, here, you'd be lucky if you got 5 or 6 quid for an apple.
Yeah, particularly when they're fresh.
Dad.
Yeah.
I've got to go and help the police with their inquiries.
Okay. Hope it's not that serious.
No, it's the guy that assaulted me. He's in court, but there's a bit of a statement missing or something, so he's emailing it over. I need to get it sorted.
Okay,
I shall
no problem.
catch you all later.
All right, mate. Catch you later.
In, mate.
Catch you later.
Right, just going to open this bottom up.
So Flick has said that makes sense. I may even try to make some just to see if there's any interest around where I am. You'll not know unless you try, Flick. It's exactly right.
No, and you've got some nice woods over in Oz. Have you got something that you can use a branch on so you get the 2 comparison colours, like I've got on the pear, the heartwood with the sapwood, and it doesn't matter whether you leave a bit of bark or just non-bark areas, because they do look a lot better if you've got the comparison of colours.
They do.
I don't know what you've got over there that represents something like you. I think most of your Aussie woods are fairly hard and almost monotone. I'm happy with that now.
I don't think we'll have apples with captive rings, Pete.
Well, you can always be a first, Pete.
He says, Pete says apples with captive rings possibly sell well.
Yeah. Don't fall short by not trying, Pete. Be the first. Set a new trend.
I thought I heard a noise outside my workshop. That's my wife just returning the bin from outside.
Ah. Did you throw it at it?
It's our bin collection day today, so
Right.
she's just wheeled it in from the end of the lane, so I'll be in trouble now.
Yeah. Why weren't
Oh
you
dear.
out there?
Oh dear.
I'll put ours out before I come down the workshop. Just to make sure I didn't get into trouble when I went in. Because I'd forgotten it.
Yeah,
But
very
I should
good.
probably get into trouble anyway, because I don't suppose today's rubbish has gone in it yet.
Peter has just said that he, one of the weirdest things he sold, he once sold a fake mince pie with glitter for sugar.
Yeah.
It's just totally weird what people want sometimes. Yeah,
So
it's hard to judge.
Yeah, when you think back to my first demo I put up on this, when I first did a live, I did those Christmas decorations. Just turn a body and sand it to 120. Nothing else. Sometimes I'll drill it and put a hook in the top. 3 of those for £2 is the going rate. I can knock them out in 2-3 minutes each without even breaking into a sweat. And you're charging £6-8 for some fruit. Doesn't make sense, does it? Did I make a hole in the bottom there?
I can't remember,
I have
did you?
done. I have just made one. Don't need to put it in the tailstock. So that is quite rubbish just there, if I say so myself. It's because you've got a gap wood. So the only way to get over that is increase the volume so that the gap appears smaller to the paper, and then sand it. Stop it and see.
So what
Pretty
speed are you turning at, Keith? What speed?
I was turning at about 500. I've just doubled that just to sand that, which I don't normally do with you, but seeing as you're only sanding sort of 3/4 at the most in the way of wood, and it was bouncing, that's fixed it. So, bit of 240 on there. Drop the volume down now. So yeah, that's better. Actually feels smooth now. So, sanding sealer over the whole thing.
The Lenny Count has just said you'll still get into trouble.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
probably. Yes.
Don't need to do anything and I can still get into trouble.
Yeah.
Got moaned at when we got out of the car from the jab this morning. Between the car and the back door, she managed to lose the card that they gave her that got the batch number and everything else on.
Yep.
And I got into trouble for that. Where did you put it?
That's your fault.
Yep.
Oh dear.
Yep. She had it in her hand and she had it on her lap all the way home. Half hour in the car. But I still got into trouble.
Oh
Such is
well.
life.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. It's a cross we all have to bear.
Yeah. Right.
Andy H has just said, yeah, that's a given, really. The only question is, how much trouble?
Well, not a lot, because she knew I wanted a cup of soup before I come down here, so I cooked that up myself and ran a couple of emails off. And by that time, she was on the computer, and I think she'd emailed daughter already to say that she'd had her jab. I don't suppose she gave her all the information. Right, so that's Yorkshire grit on there. Just gently rub that in. Lay that it's slowest.
There's been lots of Yorkshire grit used today.
There hasn't been lots, but there's been it's been used twice on each piece. So, this is one of those little projects where you've got to finish each end while you've still got something to hold it with. Pete's saying a bit quicker,
Yeah.
maybe, but not as good, but can get 4 to 5 an hour instead of 3 to 4.
So Pete says that when he does fruit, he uses the wood screw through a bit of timber fitted into the chuck.
Yep.
And then uses the cloves to finish and a twig to hide the holes. That's the way I do it, Pete. I watched your video and did exactly the same thing.
Right, I haven't watched yours, Pete. This is
Just
the
a
way
little-
I've always done it.
There's just a little bit that was left in the chuck.
Yeah.
After turning something else, drilled the screw through the middle of it, and you can just put it back in your truck again.
But I've been chatting while I'm
Pete
doing
Twisted
it.
Trees wants me to sing the song again. I'm not doing it. I've already done it once.
You need some Yorkshire grit, Pete. Definitely. You don't need the ultra fine, but you want the black. You want the original. It would just bring your bowls up to another level of finish. I know you get a good finish on them now. It's only because you're using a lot of my old wood. But there you go.
Mike the Midnight Joker has had a weird request.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has asked to make a box, a wooden box, to keep dentures in. The shape of the dentures. That might be interesting.
Yeah. Well, if you do it round, you can have half a set one side and the bottom half one side and the bottom and the top half the other side, so you can put it in a round box then. Does that solve it for you?
Peter Kelly says, I'm still to get some Yorkshire
Yeah.
grit.
I
Must
just
be the-
answered him on that one, yeah. And Clive
Must be the old-
Rogerson's just popping off. Thanks
Yep.
for stopping by, Clive. Hopefully you've learnt a bit, seen a bit. We all do it slightly different, which is why we do it. The person that says, oh, I know that, I always do it that way, is 50% a liar. Because we all put our little twists in it.
Yep.
No one does exactly the same as what I do, and I don't do exactly the same as what anyone else does. I come pretty close. But we're not out to copy. We're out to mimic as much as copy.
Doug Miller's having to go as well. He needs to go. Says thank you,
Doug.
Keith.
Hopefully see you guys on Thursday evening. I'm covering for Scott again, as he's working, I think, Thursday evening. So this is Woodwax 22 going on, just a bit.
So Pete Twisted Trees saying he's used 4 tubs of black and 1 tub of white, but the white's only for special occasions.
Or special occasions or acrylics. If I
that's
ever
why.
do
That's what I was
acrylic
thinking.
pens, which I'm not over keen on. I'd rather do 100 wood pens than 2 acrylic ones.
I've never turned a pen. I haven't got the equipment for turning a pen. apparently. You need a mandrel or something, don't you?
No, you can do it between centres if you're only going to do one or two. Right, so that's drilled, that's waxed. Happy with that. So we'll take that baby out.
That's just about right for me too as well, Peter. Peter Kelly's just said, I learn a new thing every time I go down to the shed.
Well, you do. You learn
indeed.
to modify something that you've done, or you do it a slightly different method. You find you do it to suit yourself and your way of turning.
And,
No
and
one
what,
can
what,
turn
what feels
round.
easier for you, yeah?
Yeah, no one can turn around and say, this is the set in stone way of doing it. There isn't a set in stone way of doing it. There is a preferred option for a lot of people. But we all turn slightly differently. And like
Yeah, Chris
Andy
Dodd-
says, that's what keeps us fresh by
Yep.
not copying, but watching others and seeing how things are done. Right, so back between screw chuck and revolting centre. Gently nibble this down. This will be a slightly longer shaped apple.
Chris Dodd likes to turn the little hairy gnomes that
Yep.
and he's sold quite a few of them, he says. Gonks, yeah. Or
I've
they're like,
yet
they're
to
like
do
the
it.
tiny turners. Yeah, they are nice. They're a good thing for Christmas time and things, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'll wait for it to get a bit warmer. Hunt through the wood pile and see what I can find out there that brings itself to gonk shape.
Yeah, Pete says turning pens can be fun, but it can also be pretty soul destroying after a while.
Yeah,
He says he will only turn a few in a day, and maybe not make 30 or 40 in a day. You know, I don't think I could. That turns you into a sort of production turner, I think.
no, it turns you into someone that can just keep going, and the first one's going to take you 20 minutes, and by the time you turn the 30th one, that 20 minutes is just over 10. So you learn repetition, and might be a bit soul destroying, but it's good practice.
Yeah.
I've got a ridge there I need to get rid of. So gentle pull cut over that.
Richard says he appreciates the company as well as the learning. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, I'd be in a sorry old state if I'd come out here and went live and talking to myself for the hour and a half. It'd be a good hour and a half today. We're at an hour and a half now.
We're at an hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to hop off, feel free.
So Robert Dolman's having to go back to the lathe. He says, thanks, Keith and Brian, for the live. Thank you, Richard. After Robert.
Well, if you guys don't stop and chat, like I say, we're talking to ourselves all day.
Yep.
Don't
Paul
see any
Smith
fun
says-
in that.
Paul Smith says his first pen took him 3 hours.
Well, I think
Yeah.
overall you're looking at not only you've got to turn the pen, you've got to drill it. You've either got to repair or cut the blank. If you buy the blank pre-made, you've only got to cut them to length. You've got to drill them. You've then got to stick the tubes in, and I won't use super glue for wood. I use the foaming glue. You've got to rough up the tubes before you stick them in, regardless of whether you're sticking them into acrylic or wood. So there's lots of little processes that I don't want to do one at a time. I will quite often do 50 at a time.
Yeah, Steve Jobin says I have a big stack of old 2x2 timber, and I
Right.
turn a bead and cove stick every day. That's good practice.
Yep. Yep.
Sidley 61 has got to go. He thanks for the demo.
Thanks, Sidley. Catch you another time. Like I say, guys, hit the thumbs up button on the way out, please, if you've liked it. If you haven't liked it, hit the thumbs down button. You've still stopped and you've liked the demo. If you haven't, why have you stopped here for an hour and a half or whatever?
Andy H is way back to his lathe. He's halfway through an offset candlestick. He has to
Right.
go and get his brain round it again.
Okay,
Ian Leonard says, thank you, Keith, for a very fruity demo.
that's fine. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Jared says, must muster the courage to go to the workshop. Very cold out there. It's like Siberia instead of this nice warm office.
Mm.
I'm going back to my office to edit a video. That's where I'm going very shortly.
That's why I'm not going to. I can't get my head around that. I've got no enthusiasm to do
Yeah.
videos.
I haven't much enthusiasm for either, but I kind of feel I need to. I want to learn it. That's the important thing. I just want to learn it.
I think I'm too old in the tooth to.
You're never too
learn
old
that.
to learn something new.
You are if you're not interested enough in it.
Well, that's true. But that's just an excuse for not being interested then. Stop it. Flicks Wood Turning and Timber Creations. My main seller are crochet hooks and oblique calligraphy pens. To avoid
Yeah.
repetition of it, I will set a full weekend aside and batch up to 100.
Yeah.
And then I can enjoy creating the other days of the month.
Yeah.
Very good.
I agree with you there, Flick. Your crochet hooks are something else. I've watched the video the other night because there was nothing else much on. So I thought, well, I've subbed to you. I'll go and see what I've subbed to now. So yeah.
I don't think I have subbed to Flicks, but I'll go and look her up after this.
It's no good asking me to put a link in because I haven't got a clue how it's done. My boy's just been called off by the plod.
Well, at least he was called off and not dragged off.
Well, we don't know that he wasn't dragged off. But it's welcome to Flick and those from further waters, over the pond, over the waters. Like I say, I know Flick's from down under. So,
From
what woods?
Australia?
What woods have you got down there, Flick, for doing fruit, or the two? Oh, let's put it a different way. What wood have you got over there that comes in sort of 2.5, 3 inch branches, and the sapwood is a lot lighter to the heartwood? I think that makes more sense because you can always quarter a bit. You can put any wood on, but they do look nice in contrasting woods. Going up through the grits. Oh, Mark's put in Flick's link.
Well done,
Cheers, Mark.
Thank you. I knew Mark was still there.
Oh right, I'd forgotten he was there. Yeah. Cheers, Mark. Appreciate that, mate. So that's sanded up to 240. Drop of
There we go. That's that done.
On there. And shows up the errors in the sanding or lack of sanding. You've got gum trees with red heart and lighter colour sapwood. So that would probably work quite well then, Flick. Like I say, it's nice to have the contrasting heart and sapwood. I could have done with slightly more heartwood on these, but it's just how the branch forms, the tree grows. But I knew this was bone dry. These have been cut by myself 10, 12 years ago, these branches.
So Mike the Midnight Joker is going to start making dipping pens when he's got
Right.
all the information he needs.
You only
And
got to
Paul,
go over and watch Flick.
yep, and Paul Smith has said, Mark is so clever with the internet. I'm old and crap.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Don't be so hard on yourself, Paul.
I'm the same. I've got to the point now where I don't really want to learn too much more in the way of technology, because the time I've got hold of it, it's 12 months out of date anyway. I'm the old fella on here.
So Flick has currently got 50 subscribers, guys. So if anybody's not subscribed to Flick, nip over there, give her a sub.
If you wouldn't mind.
If you wouldn't mind doing that, that would try and boost her up, try and get up to 100. And Mark the Gentleman Turner says he's not clever, he's just good in a smartphone.
Yeah, but he's also a lot younger than us.
Don't beat yourself up there again, Mark. You are clever. Far smarter than some of us old guys.
I need to up my angst to get a free delivery. What should I buy? Well, you can. Depends what you want to do, Ben. And like he says, paying £4 delivery would be silly. I usually leave it and order some pens, some pen kits. Don't get the blanks off them, but I just top my orders up with that. Or if you want, if you're out of or getting down on Yorkshire grit, stick a tub of that on. Yeah, or a tub of wax.
That's the kind of things I stick on.
Yeah.
Consumables.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to not do that.
Yep.
Your spray lacquers, anything like that. The Chestnut range is good. I think it's better than Axminster's own range, but am I biased? No, I'm not. Terry doesn't do anything to sub to what I do.
So Flick is actually in Brisbane in Australia.
Right.
And a whole lot of people, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 people here have just subbed to Flick's channel. That's very good.
Well done, guys. Thank you. Chris Dodds is saying he's in Petri.
Pete says,
is that petrified or Petri?
Pete says he'll just sub to Flick. I'll watch something later, but probably not crochet hooks. I'm rubbish at them.
Like everything else, Pete, it's practice, mate. I was rubbish at apples the first 2 or 3 I made.
Well, I've got my
a lot better.
I've got my first apple sitting here, so I'll let you see it later, Keith.
Okay. Is that good? Is it?
Yeah. It's certainly not going to public display.
That's waxed up to finish, so just lightly hold a drill in there. It's already got a pilot in there, so I can drill that a little bit deeper. Feels like that's now decided. That's it. It wants to lock itself in there. So just going to unscrew that.
No, Richard.
We've got a bigger hole in the other end as well.
Yes.
I think
My little apple's not that bad, Richard. You could see it, but I'll show you on my next live.
But it's not a pear.
It's certainly not a pear.
Right.
It's an apple. This little apple is made out of sugar pine.
Right. 1 clove. Yeah. Brush off the crap.
Well done, Ben. He says, I managed to find something. added an AT460WL to my basket.
Yeah,
That's
ideal.
you.
And it should cover that and possibly the next dozen or so. Will that bit go in there? Yes, that'll go in there. Super glue in there for the strig. Press the strig in.
Oh, Pete, you'll have to enlighten us on that then. Pete's just said he's come up with a new way, to him, of mounting a cube between corners. I think it's fairly good. I feel a video in the making, Pete.
So there we have it, guys and girls.
Lovely. That's
three
a fine
fruits.
pair.
Oh God, it's him again.
It's him again. That's a fine pair you've made there.
Not a bad pair of apples as well. It's a bit high for me to hold them up.
Hold them up, Anna.
It's all in the same branch. So there's a pair of fruit that actually, to me, look the right shape for an apple. I've seen so many apples turned out of a spear that they don't look like apples.
Mm-hmm.
I've also seen too many pears that come out to a point at the top that don't really look like a pear.
They're very nice. Steve Jobs says they look good enough to eat. Paul Smith, nice work, Keith. Well done, mate.
Some buggers had a chomp out of the side of that one.
Pete from Trusted
chomp out of there.
Yeah, Pete from Trusted Trees says, "Yeah, if it doesn't hit me in the face shield, I'll make a video." Very good, Pete.
So, unless anyone's got any questions, at an hour and 3/4 in, I think I deserve a cup of coffee, and I expect Brian's thinking the same.
I'm thinking I need to warm my toes up.
Yeah, I'm not too bad.
Yeah, well, it's just 9 degrees in my workshop because I've just killed my 2 kilowatt fan heater. It's just died.
Yeah, I turned mine off about 20 minutes ago.
I didn't turn mine off, it's died.
All right, it's turned itself off.
Yeah, it's just died. Yeah.
Jared's going to muster his strength to go out into his Siberian workhouse.
Going to Siberia.
Yeah. See you all again. Thanks, Keith. Stay safe, all of you. Yes, and you, Gerard.
Stay safe, Gerard.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for stopping in. Don't know what I'm going to be doing Thursday night, whether I'm going to keep it on tutorial.
Steve Jobbins. Oh, Keith, I just remembered. Are you still selling sandpaper?
Yes, mate. Message me. Yeah, message
Must
me.
get some myself, actually.
Right. It looks like it's now a metre of each of the 6 grits that I do, which is 80, 120, 180, 240, 320, 400. Posted, currently that works out at £14.
There you go, see a fiver there.
No, I've got to make me 10p out of it.
Yeah, of course you have. Of course you have. 14 quid is not too bad.
You're getting 6 metres for 14 quid.
That's
you look at Axminster, they're doing a metre, I think, on there is 520 something, 523. So, and it's the Endasa, which is the Velcro backed one, which is what Simon Hope sells.
Oh yeah, I think I got some of that.
Discs out of.
Yeah.
So it's 4 and a. Where's my tape? I can never remember. It's 4.5, I think, wide. Yeah, it's 4.5 wide by the meter. So, being 4.5 wide, you can get 2 per. Let's turn that down a bit.
Pete from Twisted Trees is asking you, can you do it in 10 meter rolls?
I could do if you wanted it. Message
And
me, Pete. You get 2-inch per width, or if I'm doing the 3-inch ones, I cut them at 3 1/4 wide, and I do it in 6-inch, 6 1/4 inch long, and then it leaves me an inch strip down the side, which I take off as one. So that then works for pens, because the pens you don't want.
So Mark's
long
got to
bits.
go. He said he'll message you later, Keith.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So I end up with inch wide strips, 6 1/4 inches long, which is just right for doing your pens.
And Gerard,
All
the
smaller
French turner, is asking you, do you have a shop, Keith?
No.
So you can just message Keith direct, Gerard.
Yep. Yeah. Whereabouts do you, Gerard?
Gerard's in Cork.
He's in Cork. Well,
Yep.
unless if I can send it to Ireland without import fees and everything that you guys in.
If you, Keith, if Gerard wants some, you can send it to me and I'll send it to him.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's easier for me to get down the road to him.
okay. Yeah. But yeah, I'm quite happy to.
But you can just stick it in the Royal Mail to me. It'll not be any different. The Royal Mail post works to me, then I can send to him. Because there's no border in Ireland, it's just coming across. But if you just send me a little, if you send a little box to me, it's no bother.
So
it's only when it's coming for a business. If it's coming from a business, it causes a problem. So if you're just sending it to me, you know what I mean? Just like it's just a normal letter or just a padded envelope or something. You know what I mean?
It's a package to a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Present to a friend.
And that'll just come straight over to me.
Keith, have you thought about documenting your wood collection by size, weight, species, humidity, and grain? Are you not taking the piss now, then, Brian? Ben?
I think he is. I think maybe he is.
That's only a camera's view.
I think, Dan, if you wanted to go to the workshop there and spend your time cataloguing it, that's.
And say you're more than welcome to come over and sit here and document it.
The Lincoln has said.
No, you're right.
The Lincoln said.
Yeah, Exo and me don't mix.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. Sorry, missed the start of this. What are you selling? Yeah. Well, if you want abrasive, Gerard.
Sandpaper. Sandpaper, Gerard.
Sandpaper.
That's all he sells. Yep. Sandpaper.
Yeah. And the odd bits of wood every so often, but like I was saying, it's the Indasa, which is what Simon Hope sells in his sanding kits. Mark's used it. He's got through a couple of meters of each nearly, and he's coming back for more. Yeah, Pete's been using it. Pete Kelly's been using it. I've been in there. It would take you 100 years plus to sort it. Yeah, you're about right, Pete. Yeah. I'm going to leave it in my will to you, Pete, that you come over and help Scott sort it. What's left?
He's going to be the executor of the executor of the timber.
Yes, there's going to be a joint executors for the timber. Well, I've probably got outside biggest part of a ton of you in the round, and I'm not exaggerating on that. I've also got quite a bit rounded up, but it's only small, mate. Pete's up for it anyway, with the sound of it. He's only a few minutes down the road from me. Good half hour down the road. I've got some good mates, and we look after each other over here. Pete's fairly close, distance-wise. Scott's fairly close, distance-wise. Mark's down the other end of the country, but we all get on well, pretty well together. Well, I think we do anyway. Look after each other. Pete comes over. Have you got a bit of that I could come over and thieve? Oh, I'll have a look through the wood store. Not get it here in Ireland. You, my favourite. If you're ever over this way, Gerard, you can certainly put some in your boot. That's not a problem. It's silly to go back home with an empty boot. We're not dealing drugs. We're just dealing you. Right, guys. Now, a question to you. And I know there's only 23 left in the chat, but what would you like to see next week? Anything in particular? I usually ask this and say, sod you, I'm going to do my own thing. But I just want to do things that other people don't do or do completely different to what I do. Gerard wants to see a bud vase. Well, I was going to do some bud vases earlier on in the year, but that's when, unfortunately, the computer went tits up.
It's not a bad idea. I haven't seen a bud vase done.
I do various shapes, sizes, and configurations. I mean, just because I do it one way doesn't mean to say you've got to do it that way. The way I do things, that is the very first YouTube video up on my page is me turning a bud vase down at the museum.
All right.
That was because the on-site photographer come in and said, "What can you do in 10 minutes?" I said, "Well, I can put the kettle on if that's what you want, Pete." No, he said turning. And I said, "Well, I've only got blanks here to do bud vases, and I can't knock one of those out in 5 minutes." Right? I said I could probably get close on in quarter of an hour. Go for it, he said. So he set his camera up, and I set the lathe up, and you can see the resultant video, which has been put up onto my. It's the very first one. Go back to the very beginning, bud vase at Amberley, and it's pretty basic because I only didn't have all the tools there with me, and I wanted some tools which weren't sharp, and I hadn't got time. So I'm doing nothing with a captive ring flick. Sorry.
So Peter Kelly says there he has a new Facebook page for his turning. So right. You really need to tell us what your page is called, Peter. Is it or just under Peter Kelly? So if you type in there what it's called, we can all have a look. And maybe I
don't do hollow forms as such. Wayne's the best one for looking at those. I do my odd ones. But it's something I'm not good at. I need the practice, but I don't see that I should come and practice and show you the way I do things, and I don't even know how I do them myself.
Oh,
Version of the incense stick holder Terry did the other international, but possibly in a few months. Yeah, I saw that. I think it would probably be quite a bit different to the way Terry did it.
Hold the fort there for a few seconds, Keith. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. PJK would turn in, chip off the old block. Is that your Facebook page, Pete, that you put in there? I've got weird and wonderful noises. Honey dipper. Yeah, again, there's quite a lot of honey dippers out there, and it's nice to have a handmade one, but they're so cheap to buy. You can buy them for pence rather than a wood turner spending a fair bit of time on there and then wanting to charge £4 or £5 for them. I know it's always nice to get to see something made and buy it. How does it work out for the sanding paper? I think, Gerard, it's £14, 14 or £15 for 6 meters posted. And I'm not sure about the Irish post, whether it makes any difference to us. Quite happy to do that. What about a gavel? If you're doing, so I'm reading down the chat as it's coming through. I'm not sure whether I'm up to speed with you guys. Flick's put in there, what about a gavel? Sounds like Brian's on his way back in. If you're going to be doing a gavel, Flick, I think you really need to turn a sounding block at the same time. And do you cheat on that one and do a tamper style gavel, which is what they hold in their hand and they just strike it on the bench rather than a handled gavel?
I'm back.
You're
Just
back.
in case you missed me.
Where did you go? Oh, we don't know that you want to have a leak. What grit? Okay. 80, 120, 180, 240, 320, 400. So I'm trying to keep up with the chat. And
Yep.
there's half a dozen of them chatting to me, and I'm missing out some of the bits.
Lawrence Miguel has had to go. He's thanks, Keith and Brian. Take care, everybody, he says.
Keith, could you turn a donut? I tried several times after the Gourd Rocks challenge and failed every time. Yes, you could, and yes, I possibly could. You would do that in the donut chuck, and the donut chuck that I have is, hang on guys, oh, there's a ring for one, and there's the donut chuck up there. So I would do that in a donut chuck and do half at a time. Let's swing you back. So yeah, it's possible. That might be a Thursday night one. Peter Kelly, you made 3 gavels and blocks years ago from Masonic Lodge nearby. Yeah, it is normally the Masonics that want them, or the auctioneers. I had one on up for sale for so long that I think I gave it away in the end. I might have even taken it in the club one day and said to anyone, if you want it, take the bloody thing. I'm fed up with it now. Pens. Yeah, I could do pens, but I do them, like I said earlier on, I do them, mass produce them, but hand turn them, obviously. So I'll batch do them. You don't want to watch me to drill, for up to 100 barrels out, because I do the 2-part ones, and then glue the tubes in, and then sand the ends off, and then put them on the lathe to turn them. And
just the process of putting together one pen.
Yeah. But
just as an instructional thing.
I squeeze mine together on the lathe using what I've got, and that'll be put them between.
Yeah, but that's ideal, because that's the kind of thing people who are just starting out need to know. You know, I mean, rather than have to go and buy a pen mansell or a fancy clamp for squeezing them or whatever, if you could show them how to do it with just the basic kit that you've got.
If you've got a flat surface, on the chuck end, and I can use the side of the jaws and I use the flat surface on the tailstock, you can wind them in on the tailstock. You've got more control of that on the one piece squeeze them together jobbies that you can buy from Maxminster and other places. So
Yeah,
I
you can't
find,
have a lever on them. You have to pull or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah, you squeeze them together. I find I don't have enough control on that, being a bit older in the tooth.
Jared had something to go. He says, "Sorry, Keith, I'll contact you through Facebook.
Yeah,
I need
no
to go off
problem,
and do
mate.
something for my
Yeah.
sanity."
Yeah, yeah. Stay safe, mate. I'll see you
Cheers, mate.
somewhere.
All right.
Catch you in the chat. Natural edge bowl. Yes, I can do some natural edge bowls. Haven't got a lot of natural edged timber left because I've put a lot of it into the round. Because again, the natural edge ones don't seem to sell that well where I sell. They want the complete bowl. So I was just looking at what blanks I've got. They want a complete bowl rather than a bowl with a lump missing out the side.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, I've had some good responses on Facebook about my natural edge stuff that I've turned, but
Right.
nobody wants to buy it.
No. I think they're frightened that the time they get it home, or it's going to be rough to the touch.
Yeah.
So they'd much rather have a natural, a smooth edge bowl.
Yeah.
You can get more. You can get more into the smooth edge bowls. Okay, that's
Some
you've
good
all
ideas
come up
there.
with. Yeah, you've all come up with different bits and pieces. I don't think it will be pens. I might do a 10-minute. This is how I put them together, but that's got to be during the summer because you want warm fingers.
Yep.
My fingers, I'm not even sure that are on the end of my hands at the moment.
I'm thinking the
Keith's
same
just
thing
said
myself.
He's recently done 2 pen making videos. I don't use the lathe much for pen making. Bandsaw and drill press. No, I use the contrary to that, Pete. I use the lathe for the whole lot, apart from cutting them. Then I use the bandsaw.
I have a little drill press, but I wouldn't do that. It's useless.
No, I've got a drill press that would do it, but I find it quicker and easier to put the blank in whatever chuck I've got on, and I quite often use this one for drilling them because it's got enough of a square section. It will hold. There's a long bit, but it will hold that in there adequately. I can centralize that on the drill by moving it. The thing that I always do is when I've got my blanks, I'll measure. You can see now. I'll measure the length that I want, usually 50 odd, 51, 52. Cut it. Cut the second one. But before I cut that, I will definitely distinctly mark it so that I know the cut end. When I'm drilling it, my cut end has got the mark on it. So I always drill from the center out. So once I've cut that, I will drill that way. I will drill that way. Because you're not worried, you're only worried where the drill goes in. You're not worried where the drill comes out. So if the drill wanders a fraction, it's not a problem because you're starting at the center of the wood. And you can get that centered up pretty well. just by a little tap. If you can't centre it up like that, the easiest way, carpenter's method, pencil in your hand, go round 4 sides. That gives you the centre. Centre between the 4 intersections there. So you can line that up with the centre of your drill and go straight through. So the amount of time it would take me to stand it up on end, put it in the drill press, put it in the drill vise, get it under the centre of the drill, I've drilled it. I'm not saying Pete's wrong, but this way works for me. And if I'm going to do a longer one, a one piece, I would do it exactly the same. Cut the wood to length plus 1.5 mil, drill it in the lathe.
I think I'll have a look at Pete's little videos that he's done too. I'll have a look at them as well. Get some advice there as well. Oh, I love this community for sharing knowledge. It's amazing.
Yep, all my pens are either.
Baz from Real Simple Things back on. He says, "Still going, Keith."
Yeah, I can talk for hours if I need to, Baz.
Yeah, we're still here, Baz.
Yeah, it's all technical. It's not anything that people don't want to.
I'm not sure my feet are still here or my fingers, but we're still here.
No, feet aren't too bad. It's my fingers that have gone down. Thanks, Steve. This is why I want to do specifically 1 a week, maybe 2, and pass the information that I've amassed over the last 30 odd years wood turning and to my life basically in the building trade. So I can pass on quite a lot of information, various methods of doing things. Back on the pal. Give me something to watch. Stay safe, everyone. Baz is going. Daughter's going. Thanks for stopping by. I won't tell them at work that you've not been working. I expect you've got the computer on. And just putting it on automatic. But I'm quite happy to come on here. What I was going to say earlier on when there was a few more watching was if I didn't want to come out in the workshop here one lunchtime, how about doing a question and answer? You throw me the questions and I'll answer them my way from indoors in the warm. It's worked quite well in the past. I've done one. My hour slot lasted nearly 2 hours. A bit like this one. This is going 2 and a quarter now.
2 and a quarter now.
Yeah. All the time you ask me the questions, I can answer the questions. Or if I can't, I will tell you I can't. But there's one of us in here. Pete's quite knowledgeable on wood turning.
Pete's a fountain of knowledge as well. Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Sure, remember, but I'm an ex-plumber as well. We spoke briefly once before. Did we, Steve?
Steve Jobbins.
Yeah. Where were you based then, Steve? Where were you plumbing? Trouble is, I've got so bloody old now, the memory's gone. I can have a conversation with someone and go indoors and put the kettle on and think, no, what was I doing? Who did I talk to? Oh.
What was that guy's name?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I have the same problem.
That's a very handy tip about pens Chris has put on. Yeah, I'll always label mine. So going back to the one I've got on here now. No, it's not. It's the one the bit of wood I had just now. But I will put on there A, and up the other end I'll put A, so that I know that I've got A. The next one will have B, B, C, C, D, D.
Yeah, that's what Pete does as well.
Yeah,
So
the
as you
easiest way of doing it.
so as you match the grain and stuff up again.
If you're doing 100 blanks or 100 bits, you need to know. Yeah, I'm in Suffolk, but I had a fall in 2008.
Oh dear.
Ended up in a wheelchair. Oh, sorry about that, Steve. Not sure if you remember, but
It's not good.
once before. Yeah, my problem is, Steve, I speak to so many people that I don't know who I've been talking to once I've sat down and had a beer. I might remember the conversation vaguely. But, my memory
Benjamin?
is bad.
Benjamin has a question for you there. You see it
Normal
there?
scraper, one bevel. Yes, Ben, you can do. Depends what you want to do and how well you scrape it, and whether you are going to scrape the whole thing or you're going to turn the whole thing and put a scraper on it. I'm finding now that a twin bevel scraper gives me a better finish on a lot
Agreed.
of woods now. I've just profiled this baby, and that's 1.5 inches handmade. I got the tool off of an old guy that I used to go and sort out. I've slightly radiused the top so that it's not dead square across there. If you've got a dead straight scraper, it's very rare that you need a dead straight scraper. What is it? Pencil might do. If you've got a dead straight scraper, you'll probably end up digging the two corners in. So slightly radius it. That's got quite an obtuse, I think it's about a 45 just on, and a very tight 45 on the top. With that camera's crap at picking it up. Don't know where I can put it, but I've got a double bevel on there anyway.
I would see okay, yeah, Keith, it was fine. Chris Dawes just said, you guys have forgotten more than I know. I know how you feel, Chris.
Yeah, I've forgotten quite a bit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's saying he drills his the same way
Yep.
as I do. Use the lathe. I could quite honestly get rid of my pillar drill for the amount of times I use it. So I use negative rake scraper on the sides inside. Yeah, I probably would do flick as well if I'm doing a hollow form or a vase, a wide-necked vase. If I'm doing the vases, or bud vases, I tend to make mine with only a 6mm drill hole in the top, so I'm not going to hollow them. There'll be some weight in the bottom. Mine are generally about 7 inches, so that I can hold them in the chuck, and they finish up about 6 inches.
Right, Keith, I'm going to have to go because my
so
wife's
am
going
I.
to work for 3:30. So
Yeah.
if you
Well, thanks, guys. It's been an entertaining one. It's been an informative one. If anyone's got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them off air. Contact me through either Circular Wood by Keith, which has got its own page, or Keith Greenfield, which is me. But message me in both instances. I'm quite happy to chat to you. Do a video chat if we need to, or whatever. Like I said to Brian the other day, if he gets stuck in the workshop, we can always come out and set a camera up and do a messenger live now on camera, I believe it is. There's many ways that we can get over it. sometimes I need to see the way you're trying to present your chisels, the bits of wood you're talking about, the tools you're chatting about, rather than the exact problem that you've got. Because I think the problem is, a lot of cases I find it is the individual is the problem, not presenting the tool right, rather than the tool being the issue. So, but quite happy to chat or message, whichever. Who's on next? Lewis is saying. Who's on tonight? I don't think there's anyone following me right away, which is why I've waffled on a bit. Who's on tonight? What's tonight? Tuesday night. Haven't got a clue offhand. Go over to.
I can't think of anybody either.
Yeah. Have a look at. Is it Banana?
Yep. I'm just trying to get that up on my computer here.
I'd lose what I'd got if I tried to do that now.
You just have to open another tab.
Pete, next time popping over to take a look at Flick's pens, fine. I think that's what we all need to do. Check each other out. Beard 16 is on tonight. So Mark's saying, I wasn't sure whether he was. He must have dried out enough down there. When I come out, there was nothing on to say one way or the other. I hate to say that someone's coming on and then they don't turn up, particularly trying to advertise someone else. So looks like Rich the Beard 16, Beard Time 16 is on tonight, and he'll be on at 8 o'clock, I believe. I'm back on 7:30 on Thursday.
I'll be on lunchtime on Thursday.
Yeah, Brian's
1 o'clock.
doing lunchtime on Thursday, so pop over and see us. There's generally someone on of a lunchtime, 1 o'clock. There's generally someone on of an evening at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Just thought that someone was on. I don't believe so, Lewis, but if someone is on, I do apologise.
There'll be a notification.
Yeah, I don't know, don't remember anyone.
Let's check your notification, see who's on. My notification, let me see. Stacey Makes was uploaded a video, live stream 42. Mike Peace was on turning a piece of gnarly dogwood. But they're just videos uploaded, I think. There's nobody on live at the minute.
No, I
Well,
don't
I've
think
had no
there is.
notification.
No. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you very much. Hopefully see you all again soon.
Thank you all for coming in, guys.
A bit more banter in here. Get this bloody mouse to work. I'm going to end it now. Thank you very much.
Catch you all there, guys. Thank you very
all
much.
again. Cheers all, and thanks from over the seas from Flick as well.